Okay. Hello, and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, is FHM producer Jeff, who is currently on your screen. So say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with the 2016-2017 Maple Leafs. We are currently 3 games under 500 and looking to improve.
Yeah, we just came off a win, but the big news is Frederik Andersen is almost finally ready to make his Leafs debut after starting the season injured and being out for a lot longer than the actual Andersen was in real life. So he had a little bad luck there, and we've had some questionable goaltending through the start. So I think that's a big part of the reason why we're down as far as we are, or at least relative to the real Leafs. We got the Oilers today, and it looks like Andersen isn't quite ready yet. So I'm just going to take a quick look. Yeah, we'll start Enroth tonight. And I am just going to sim through this one, because I would really like to get to a game where we can play with our starting goaltender, and lo and behold, we actually won. Jacob Trouba with a couple assists gets the first star. And pretty rough game for Matt Martin, Roman Polak. Riley had a good game. Trouba, yeah, you can definitely see why he had the first 83 game rating. And Enroth, 32 saves on 35 shots, so a nice night from him.
Fighting for his job.
Yeah, well, I mean, he at least didn't get sent down when we got Andersen back up. There was some question about that with the results he's gotten so far, but really hoping here we get Andersen back for the game against Calgary tomorrow. But going by the speed at which he's healed so far, I'm not really counting on it.
He'll probably be ready in about another month.
But no, Andersen is back. We got the email. And you can see things are definitely going differently in this game than in real life. The Flyers are, up to 9 games, 1 in a row in real life now, and this one I just noticed that they're considering firing the coach, and they're only 8-13 in here. Montreal on top though, so that's at least close. And there we go. Andersen is healthy. Into the starting job he goes. And since we're won a couple, even without him, I'm not going to make any other lineup changes. And just having a quick look at the Flames roster. Oh, looks like Chad Johnson's actually having a nice year for them.
Just like in real life.
Yep. Oh, let's start this up. I'm going to leave it on very fast. And yeah, Leo Komarov, 19 seconds into the game, makes it 1-0.
Excellent.
So how long before do I have to wait before you mention the Carolina-Vancouver game to me?
I was waiting for you to bring it up.
Yeah, that... hey, you got a 5-1 lead going into the third. Safe game, right? Nope.
We are playing as the Leafs, so we should know that that's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, 6 goals in the third.
Yeah.
I just wish the draft class this year was a little stronger, because Vancouver's going to be looking at another lottery pick.
Yeah, which will probably end up somehow knocking them out. And
yeah,
that'll be like
likely.
6th pick.
And there's Nolan Patrick and Hischier, the Swiss guy in the Quebec League. I think one of the draft
you got
companies has got him actually number 1 ahead of Patrick, but I think that's a bit of a stretch. But there's not too much exciting in like the 2 to 5 spots.
But Liljegren.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's that much this year.
We got Urolevy last year, and another kind of middle of the roadish defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
And we're up 2-0 here, by the way. Gardner made it 2-0, and
Excellent. I'm just watching shootout here too.
Yeah, nice defensive effort from, although we're kind of breaking down to the end. They got a bunch of shots on Anderson, but
well, that was going to happen.
Yeah, solid first game so far.
PWOG66 in the chat says, it's a cold one in Michigan. How's the stream going? Well, we just started.
Yeah, cold one here too. I think we're down to about minus 15 right now.
Well, I said today was about, just didn't quite get there, but was about minus 40 with a wind chill.
Oh, so yeah, typical average prairie day, huh?
Yeah, so I think it was a minus 39, but I just said minus 40 in the baseball chat because, well, that's where minus 40 Fahrenheit and minus 40 Celsius are the exact same thing.
It's all the same at that point. Yeah, I don't miss living in Calgary. That, yeah, and I think I think we went under minus 50 in wind chill once. That was about enough of that for me.
It's, I don't mind it. It's just that was just cold. It was a 60-mile-an-hour wind or 60 kilometer or something. I don't know, 60-something mile an hour. 60-something hour wind. 60 kilometer. Let's say that. Yeah. It's Canada. It must be kilometer.
Must be kilometers. They wouldn't tell you otherwise.
Yeah. Regardless, it was cold and then the snow was piling up, so that always just is not a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we got a nice game going here.
Ratcast is in the chat. So, hi, Ratcast. He says, the cold is coming this way. Cold is coming everywhere.
Yeah, you guys will be getting soon. Really nice game, 3-0 up at the end of the second.
Well, let's see if they can hold on.
Yeah, our first line is getting a ton of playing time. They're probably wearing down here. I'm a little worried about what happens in the third.
Put the fourth line out every other shift.
Yeah, I gotta take a look at the time settings there, or at least in the stats. Not too bad for the defenseman, but Komarov was up to 19 minutes, and yes, he hasn't been back in the this period yet. I think we wore him down a little fast. Penalty on us, but it appears to be going okay. Yep, killed that one off. But yeah, really happy with the defensive effort. 11 shots and through the middle of the third, 12 now. But
our defense is much better with Jacob Trouba traded for.
Yeah, traded for his rights and then signed him, and then
I don't remember who we traded him for, but
didn't we? I think we gave up a couple of draft picks for him because the Leafs are still fairly loaded with those.
We have, what's his name? Jacob Trouba. History. We gave up Brendan Leipzig and a third-round pick.
All right. Leipzig, I think he's actually still leading the AHL in scoring this year in real life, so hopefully that doesn't come back and bite us. But
is still playing with the Moose, so that's okay.
And the game is over, and I will call that a successful return for Frederik Andersen. 3-0 shutout.
15 points in 19 games. So.
Yeah, it's not like he was got a lot of work. Well, Calgary actually did rally a bit in the end and wound up 20-20 tied in shots, but Anderson kept them all out. Didn't get a big workload, but got to look now and think about climbing back up the standings. That moves us into a three-way tie for 6th in the Atlantic with Boston and Ottawa. But we're only... Well, it's Florida just ahead of us and Buffalo too, but then it's a little bit of a gap up to Tampa.
Neilio8 in the chat asks, can you run this game on Windows 7?
Yeah, it should run.
Yep, it's just pulling up the system requirements here.
Assuming you got the memory and everything, all the other requirements, it should be fine.
It should run on XP, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10, along with Mac.
Yeah.
Just throwing a link in the chat there for you.
And 22nd in the league overall. And what's the next schedule, part of the schedule looking like? Oh, we got Vancouver again in a few days, so it's actually fairly light. We got a couple of 3-4 day gaps here, so we'll get our guys rested back up and see if we can keep this win streak going.
Probably not.
I wasn't that optimistic.
Well, you just said it, so it's probably not going to happen.
Jinxed us, yeah, exactly.
Yep. Just like how you thought you turned the TV off last night. Thought, oh, well, Vancouver's 5-1 in the third period. This game's over.
Yep. 5-2, 5-3, and 8-6. Can't believe that.
Yeah, that hurts, huh?
I gotta wonder if that's the end for Willie Desjardins. That was embarrassing.
Well, the fact they haven't fired him yet probably says no. It's.
Uh-oh, we got an injury here. I didn't notice. Martin Marincin out for 9 weeks. We were carrying 2 extra defensemen, though, so not a huge deal, and that will get probably Zaitsev a little playing time.
So, I have playing my game, or the same, just seemed to had a couple days, and that first game, we won 4-0, and then we lost to Calgary 6-1 in my game, but Marincin also got hurt with knee soreness, but he's only out for 9 days.
Yeah, so I got 10 times worse. Development report, a lot of good news there. Quite a few guys coming along nicely. Kasperi Kapanen improved in 3 categories, and we got a few guys going downhill. Yeah, basically, nobody too surprising here. Bozak, Nathan Horton is never coming back, so not much you can do with that. We probably will get a Lupul back, at least until he gets hurt again, inevitably.
Well, we should probably trade him if he comes back.
That's not a bad idea. Get a one or two games in, get his fitness back up. But Marincin is out, and maybe we'll go with. Oh no, Zaitsev's 2.5 stars. He definitely should be in there. Wow, he must have just improved. I don't remember him being that highly rated before. And I'm hoping he can play left defense. Or right defense, rather. And yeah, great. He's 19. 19 rated, so that's good enough that he can just drop into that right defenseman role. We don't have to make major changes there.
Excellent.
And see, he may be able to add a little bit of offense to our third line. And power plays. I think we can actually try him on the second unit. All 3 of them. Yeah, that looks all right. And was he in? Yeah, only going to go on the third one for killing penalties. Okay, there we go. We should be set for the next game against the Canucks, which is in still a couple more days. And it looks like they're just coming off a win over Anaheim. I'm not sure how they're doing in this game. Hopefully not dropping any 5 or 4 goal third period leads. Just letting it autosave here. And Ovechkin with a 4-goal game. And our board confidence report. They're reasonably happy with us, so nothing to be worried about yet.
Despite the fact we fired everybody and took over.
Okay, Vancouver coming up tomorrow. Forgot to do that. Yeah, oh wow, they're 11, 13, or 11, or 13, 6, and 5, rather. So much better than they're actually doing. First time I see, I think I'm going to take that down just a little and add that to the third line. So I think I wore those guys out a little bit in the first couple of periods in the last game. I don't know if that's been an ongoing problem, but I just noticed it. And we'll see how that works against the Canucks.
Well, it looks like we got a nice balance. Is never mind. I see that he is. Want to make sure Frederik Andersen came back in as our #1 goalie.
Yep, he's definitely there.
Okay, I got a question for you. What did you think of Lyndon's comments that Vancouver couldn't do a full rebuild because of the Sedins?
Whoops, I just meant to play that and I simmed it instead. We wound up winning 5-1. Okay, that went well. About Lyndon's comments, yeah, it's at least somebody's openly admitting it now. That's, you can't, as long as they're still on the roster, the team is going to be a little too good to stay, to be completely pathetic, and go completely in the tank and finish dead last. Although they're making a good effort of it lately.
You, as a Vancouver fan, are okay with that?
Yeah, I mean it's what I've been thinking for. And I know there's a lot of Vancouver fans have been thinking that for a while. But I mean, the obvious solution, I think, would be to trade them. But it's not going to happen, and a big chunk of the casual fan base would go absolutely crazy if you did that.
Well, if you start a rebuild, though, they might force the hand and get them to want out.
Yeah, and the other problem with the rebuild, some of the questionable stuff we've done with trading away picks like McCann, and it's not like Goodbranson's set the world on fire this year.
He's not a great fit for that system, but he's certainly not playing as well as he can be either.
And the whole, I mean, you can at least do a partial rebuild by not signing guys like Louis Eriksson to 6-year, $6 million contracts and tying up all that cap space for till sometime in the 2020s.
Oh, I thought you'd be super excited about that.
Oh yeah, I'm thrilled. You ever notice actually, I'm surprised it didn't happen in this game. This is one of the rare times it didn't. Almost all games at the start of the new FHM game, the Canucks will try to trade Eriksson for a draft pick because at least the AI knows it shouldn't be having that guy doesn't belong there, and he should get something for the future from him. You should be recovering. You should be rebuilding. But no.
So you're saying Toronto should offer him a 7th round pick?
Yeah, I mean, in real life, I take that right now. Somebody else can take the cap hit. But no, they usually hold out in the game for a decent prospect. But let's see what those wins have done for us. Yeah, we climbed over the Bruins out of last place in the Atlantic and up to 21st overall now. And I meant to see exactly what... Oh, that's a little scary. That wasn't a game injury. It was an irregular heartbeat for Marincin.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah, you hope that isn't going to be happening again. Because I think I'm trying to remember offhand. I haven't looked at the injuries settings file in a while, but I think that one might have a small chance of being career-ending. But if it hasn't happened yet, oh yes, I should be watching the waiver wire a little bit, Dmitry asked, and just picked up by the Oilers, and we've got Minnesota next. And Canucks bounce back, looks like with a win over the Devils. And here we go against Minnesota, and lineup still looks okay. And I'm going to watch this one. I didn't want to send that. So Anderson, 1 goal against in his first 2 games back. You see what kind of a difference he's making. So I'm thinking we might have, game stoppage is on. I'm thinking we might have a chance at climbing back into the playoffs if we can. I don't expect us to be winning this much. We're up to 3 in a row now for the rest of the season, but I think we can go well above 500 from this point on.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
And just keeping an eye on ice time in the first period to see if that's even things out a little bit, so we're not blowing out that first line in the first 20 or 40 minutes. It looks like it, yeah, much better now. Komarov is only 3 minutes so far, almost a little underused. Not too exciting of a game so far. But still, no goals against us, so... Oops, probably just jinxed it by saying that, didn't I?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, shift number, yeah, definitely much more balanced now. The third line's actually... There's one more shift so far than the first. Oh no, there it was. Evens it up now.
Ratcast asks, is the WHA in FHM3?
Yes, it is. It's been in since... we actually had that early on in FHM in 2014, the first one. That's... Yep. So if you can start as a WHA team if you're starting between 72 and 79. And they'll play... If you play the whole stretch of the historical game, they will appear in 1972 and start signing all of your players in the NHL, and we're down to nothing here. That's not fantastic. And then the league will eventually go under after the is it 78? Why don't I remember that?
70,
it's 70, it's after the 78-79 season.
Yeah, 79 the Jets started.
And then the four, the Jets, Nordiques, Whalers, and who am I forgetting? Oilers will join the NHL for 79-80 and lose most of their players in the process, and the other WHA teams will go under. But assuming you didn't grab them for yourself, Gretzky will show up with the Oilers. Usually with the Oilers, it's not guaranteed because he starts out with Indianapolis in the WHA, so he may wind up getting traded to another WHA team, and so he could conceivably start his first season with somebody other than Edmonton. But usually it goes with he goes into with Edmonton. And not I'm going to see if we can make a few line changes here because we've lost the tactical advantage apparently. See, the countering rolls, everything that's countering, Matteau isn't that good at, so I can't change. I don't want to change that. Martin's got, yeah, same with Martin. That doesn't really work that well. Michaelak. There we go. We're going to have some of our guys back check a little bit more. That may help with the shots against. Giving up a little bit in terms of how good they are at the position, but okay, let's hope that's enough to claw the tactical advantage back. But no, apparently not. And momentum dead in the middle.
Very least.
Yeah, power play. We're still can't get anything done. So it looks like the streak may be headed for an end here.
Jeff, question just for you while you're doing that.
Yep.
From Neely08 in the chat. Who are your top 3 favorite Canuck players of all time?
Well, if I could turn the camera around here and point it in the other direction, I got on this wall up here, I got number 1, Tiger Williams, autograph picture. On that wall over there, Igor Larionov, who's probably number 2. And number 3 all time, I got Kirk McLean behind me, and well, it's the McLean-Linden picture after losing the finals in 2010. Let me see. I'm going to go with a weird pick. I'm going to say Rob Dirk.
And now everyone.
1990s defenseman. The only reason I'm picking him is because he's from Kelowna like me, and he's the only NHL player I've ever been compared to as a player. So I came through the Kelowna minor hockey about 10 years after he did, and I was a big kid, like a full head of, like head and shoulders above everybody else, and Dirk is like 6'4", 6'5". Problem is, I didn't keep growing, and I can't skate nearly as well as he did, so that's about where the comparisons ended, and obviously I never made it to the NHL. And
Yeah, so yeah, I'm thinking, and who I would say would be probably Kirk McLean. I'm tempted to say Pavel Bure, but I didn't really like Bure. I liked his style at some points. Linden, I've lost respect for as he became a manager. So let's go with Mark Messier.
Oh, Jack, Kyle, get out of here. If I could kick you off of this Discord server right now, I would. Don't even go there.
Yeah, I think it's Mark Messier. And, who's the next one? I'm trying to think. What was his name? What was the name of the goalie they got from Tampa?
Dan Cloutier?
Yeah, Cloutier.
Yeah. Funny thing is, Cloutier still has a bunch of all-time records for the Canucks, but still one of the most hated goalies we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like people think the fans were rough on Luongo. They were brutal to him, and Felix Potvin too.
Yeah.
You got the same.
Yeah,
thing.
I forget. You kind of forget he's there, or Felix Potvin was there. You know, I'd go with actual Vancouver pick would be Rick Rippon. I really liked him. I liked him with the Moose, and I really liked him with Vancouver. He was an easy guy to cheer for.
Yep, absolutely, and just one of the best small fighters, like him and Gary Howard from the old Islanders. Like, was 5'8" and could really go too. But yeah, fantastic guy. Still miss him.
Yeah. Neely08 asks, can you play as NCAA teams? No, you cannot.
No, not in the game yet. Something I'd really like to do at one point, but I'm just going to sim this. Oh, actually, no, this is an interdivision.
It's really hard to, with their schedules being so different every year.
It's the whole concept of managing a team when you've got you're not paying them anything. You're not supposed to be paying them anything, but yeah, and you've got I would have to figure out how to do kind of like scholarships as compensation instead of money, and figure out how that works. There's a whole bunch of issues with the NCAA and the other
tournaments.
Difficult, the tournaments definitely.
And
I think by the time we're ready to maybe add them, we may have figured that one out.
It's the whole, one season they play 25 games and the next season they play 60.
That's it's not that extreme, but it does vary a little bit. But
there's between 25 and like 45. You hear.
And we can make we can probably figure out some compromise to make that reasonably realistic. But yeah, there's lots of little issues with that, so that's gonna be a major addition when we finally do figure out how to add it. And then the other thing that's holding up, since I don't really want to. It's not a good idea to have the Canadian Junior A leagues active in the NCAA not, because that's basically if I had we could probably make the Junior A leagues active fairly easily. The problem is you're going to have players feeding out of them a playable league going into a non-playable league above it, and that's going to cause some issues for gameplay. So as soon as we can get college hockey done, and wow, we are really getting outshot here, aren't we?
Well, not great.
Come on, guys.
Okay, in the chat, Rack Cesar I'm gonna say this name wrong.
Cesare Maniago. Cesare Maniago. Yep.
Thank you. That name always gets me.
Yep, he had just retired when I first started watching the Canucks when I was 7 or 8, and that's the year that we had really shaky goaltending. Kurt Ridley, I think, was the starter back then.
Neely, Ratcast says Neely was a Canuck. Was he?
You know, you know he was a Canuck. You're just screwing with me again. Harry freaking Peterson.
And we have Neely08 says Teppo. The only Teppo I can think of is Teppo Numminen, but he never played for the Canucks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a Teppo too. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying about the Junior A, we could get that in, but we could probably get it working, but there would be issues with getting with the league above it. And there we go. Zaitsev, first of the year, I think, finally gets us on the board with a couple minutes left in the second. But you know, when we finally figure out all that stuff and how to get that working, we're going to be able to add a ton of playable leagues. So, you know, all the NCAA conferences. Although I think we'd probably do it as one big league. And then, you know, how many Junior A leagues are there in Canada? Or at least
one in every province, pretty near.
Yeah, a couple in Ontario, 3 in Ontario actually. SIJHL, NOJHL.
And you're gonna put one.
Actually, 4 CCHL and
right.
The OJHL, or then the one in Quebec, one in Maritimes. So you got the 4 out west, the 4 in Ontario.
Are there
10 total?
Are all 4 Ontario ones all Junior A? I didn't think they were all Junior A.
Oh, what am I? I'm completely at the lunch. I didn't realize we were winning here. I thought we were. I thought we were losing a game, and I noticed. Wait a sec. I know Zaitsev scored, so why isn't it 3-1? And we're actually up 4-0 now. Marner just scored.
Oh, nice.
So what were you saying?
I was just saying, is all 4 of those Junior A's? Because I thought one of those was at least a Junior B program.
Which one? The Ontario ones?
Yeah, one of the Ontario ones.
Nope. SIJHL is the one that's in Thunder Bay. Or in General Thunder Bay area. NOJHL is like Sudbury, North Bay, the other part of Northern Ontario, like the eastern side. CCHL is the Ottawa area, and OJHL is mainly Southern Ontario.
Yeah,
they got a few like up a little farther north, but mostly like Toronto and south.
Okay. Ratcast in the chat asks, I know you've answered this before, but when you create an expansion team, you can't do that in historical mode, correct?
And you can't do it in historical. It's all you'll get the actual expansion when it happens, so you can take over one of those teams and do the whole draft for them and do it that way. But you can't start your own expansion teams.
Now, here's a question for you. I don't know the answer to this because I've never got this far. If, say, you play as a historical league and you get all the way into the future, can you expand them?
No, that'll stay. It's one of the restrictions of historical mode. It won't.
Still won't.
Yeah,
that's what I figured.
Just isn't active in historical at all.
I figured, but I thought I should ask.
Yep. But that was a 4-0 win over in the Concord divisional game against the Bruins. So that should have. Moved us up. Well, we've only got. I was going to say, why haven't we moved up at all? But we played 2 or 3 games less than everyone else. So we got Colorado today, and it looks like Anderson's Fitness is still hanging in there. So I'm going to keep starting him. I will just sim this one, I think. And that may have been a bad idea. Oh, they wanted an overtime, so at least we got a point out of it. And yeah, Matteau tied it up with 33 seconds left. So how's the schedule looking like from this point? Oh, in the middle, that was the first game of a 5-game homestand. So we got San Jose, Arizona, Pittsburgh every couple of days or so, it looks like. So you can pick and choose over which one of those we're gonna watch. Probably have a look at the Penguins. I think last time we played Pittsburgh, we beat them pretty badly because Crosby was hurt. So I'm not sure if he's back yet or not. One way to find out quickly. Flip over to Pittsburgh. And sure enough, he's back. So that may not be quite as easy this time around. San Jose next. I think I may put Enroth there's Crosby right there. Wow, 8-point. Pittsburgh beats Arizona 8-0, and Crosby is in on all of the goals. 3 goals, 5 assists. So that would be.
That is very impressive.
And Malkin, yeah, I want to check this box score out. Pittsburgh. Yeah, Malkin had a goal in 5. Let's back it up here. 8-0. Yeah, it's a little scary knowing we got them coming up. Yeah, Crosby had 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 shots. It was only +3 somehow. They must have had a bunch of power play goals. But yeah, that's, you don't see, it's the 100 game rating. We made that a lot rarer this year, but yeah, I think that kind of game definitely qualifies for it. Chris Kunitz with the hat trick. Malkin 6 points. Yeah, it was all the first line for Pittsburgh. Oh, I was going to see, have a look at the schedule. Just figure out a little plan here for the goalies. Arizona, they got beat badly. Actually, if they're giving up 8 goals to Pittsburgh, that should be an easier game for us. So I will leave Anderson in for this one. Start Enroth against Arizona, and then back to Anderson for the Pittsburgh game, because we are definitely going to need him there. So quick sim there. Okay, maybe I should have put Enroth in. 8-1 for San Jose. That is not what I wanted to see, but I definitely want to put Enroth into the starting role for the next one, because I want to give Anderson a little break after that. So I guess we maybe pushed him a little too far. He had started, I think, every game since he'd been back.
Well, that's 8-1 loss. That hurts. Okay, another interesting question from Neely08 in the chat says, if you could see an NHL game in any arena, where would it be and why?
Probably Tampa, because it means I could go to Florida and it's -15 here right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I've never been to a game in the Air Canada Centre, so possibly that Toronto or Montreal. It's a toss-up between those two.
Yeah, those would be good choices. I mean, if you're talking currently right now, I've never been, and times essentially ran out to go to Joe Louis, see a game there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind seeing their new arena next year. Going to Washington would be fairly pretty nuts.
Yeah, I do want to see the Oilers' new one at some point. I got to find a reason to get up to Edmonton and do that. Look at this, Canucks on top of the Pacific Division.
If we're going to go a little bit more crazy, the KHL's done some kind of cool stuff where they've played games like in old Coliseums. So seeing an NHL game played in like the Roman Coliseum.
Yeah, the Croatian team played there. And Enroth has a good game for us. We come out of Arizona for the 4-3 win.
Yeah. We're playing something like, not an NHL game, but next year's World Juniors. Next year, 2 years from now, World Juniors, when that game's going to be outdoor in Buffalo. Might actually be pretty cool if you got...
I saw a thing just before we started. I was looking at, apparently the World Championships are in France this year. They built an arena or a little rink on the big first floor platform of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, cool.
So they showed a picture of it. I can't remember where I saw it. I think it was linked on Reddit. And there's this rink, and then you're looking out over Paris.
That's kind of cool. Be tough to get seats there, though.
Yeah, no kidding. And the other one I'd like to see is the one in Davos, Switzerland, where they play the Spengler Cup every year. That looks like a beautiful arena.
Yeah, that's been around for a lot of years too. Is it right? Isn't that a fairly old arena?
Not that old. I think it's like 70s maybe. Okay, we got
Pittsburgh coming up. That's pretty old though.
Yeah.
In this day.
Hey, it's not old. I'm from the 70s.
Well, it's old in terms of arenas. There's not many 70s arenas left.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of them, and just not. I mean,
Literally, Joe Louis is the oldest one in the
yeah,
NHL, and it's
I remember Joe Louis replacing the Olympia.
Yeah.
Oops, take stoppages off. Into the game against the Penguins here, so hopefully Anderson's a little sharper tonight.
Well, the Joe Louis was the 70s, I believe, opened up in the 70s.
78, yeah, I think.
I'm trying to think of another arena that would be that
Joe
old.
Louis himself was actually still alive when they opened it.
That's tells you how long ago that was, huh?
Yeah.
What would be the older? Well, let's.
We seem to have the Penguins' number here because we're up 2-0 already. Is Crosby hurt again or something? Nope, he's there. He's playing. No excuse this time, guys. So I got to remember this for the playoffs. 3-0. I think we're going to be getting a goalie change for Pittsburgh if we can get one more here, or maybe even at the end of the first.
So if we cheat, technically the oldest arena is the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, but they just did the major renovation 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That would be another one to see. I mean, when we had our company meeting in New York a couple of years ago. When I came into New York, I flew into Newark and took the train into town. I didn't realize that Penn Station and Madison Square Garden are right beside each other. I would have at least gone and take a look around, when I came through there. But
yeah,
in a hurry to go see the guys, so I didn't do that. And we are now up 4-0, and Fleury is still in there. But yeah, that's another arena I'd love to see. Although
So
I'm not sure I'd want to see hockey in it. I think I almost want to see wrestling more because that's what I associate more with the Garden.
Well, that would be okay. I'm not going to lie. But we got Joe Louis was 79. Scotiabank Saddledome was opened in 83.
Yeah,
and then it is 10 years until Anaheim San Jose opened.
Yep.
So
Saddledome, I haven't heard anything out of Calgary recently about if they're still going along with that big plan to do the new
the mayor kind of shot that down, and with the recession, I think it's kind of...
No, that's done, yeah, okay. I mean, Saddledome it's still one of my favorite arenas. It's really good sight lines, and I mean, I couldn't go to many Flames games there because it was so expensive, but I used to go to the Hitmen a lot. And sitting in the lower bowl, it's just a really good experience. On the other hand, if you buy the cheap seats at Flames games and sit up in the like super mezzanine area, they've got it's like basically 3 bowls up. Don't go up there if you're afraid of heights, like me.
Yeah, I can't.
That's not
I can't
a fun
do that
experience.
myself.
Yeah.
Okay, what previously another old arena that just stopped getting used not that long ago was Nassau. That was 72.
Yep. Yeah.
Just taking a look at other arenas.
It's interesting how the complaints about the Islanders playing in Brooklyn have kind of quieted down now with the about the sightlines because it's a basketball arena they're really in right now. But,
I don't know. There's still some stuff coming up when you got like Thomas Vanek saying it. You might have signed there. Because he's just like, I don't want to live some practice. The fact they don't have a practice facility, the fact they don't have.
Oh wow! I didn't realize
Yeah, they still practice in Nassau. So most of the guys live out on the island still, and then have to go travel all the way
into Brooklyn,
to go play games. Like it's just not. That's why they keep talking.
Kind of weird. The guys well, I guess maybe because of practice facilities out there, they want to live there, but.
Well, housing's cheaper too.
Ridiculously hipsterified in the last few years, so you'd think it would be something millionaire hockey players wouldn't mind living in.
Well, most of the New York Rangers guys live in New Jersey, too.
Isn't that a tax thing, though?
Well, some of it is for sure.
And the Penguins are climbing back into this 4-2. Oh no, there we go. Matthews. I think that probably puts it away for us. Another 5-2 win over Pittsburgh, so wouldn't be too unhappy to get these guys in the first round since we're playing so well against them every time we play them.
probably destroy us the next round.
I guess this would be the first Matthews Crosby meeting.
Yeah.
So are we past the actual date in the game yet?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think we're in December yet.
Oh yeah, because we're making a point to look for that. Brandon Davidson, surprising first star, must have had a really nice game defensively. Oh, okay, there, +2. 3 hits. A little odd he got the first star. I'm kind of surprised by that. There's a little bit of a random element to it, but a bit of a surprise. Okay, and yeah, Pittsburgh's doing fine other than us. They're first in the Metropolitan. And we are now technically tied for 6th with the Panthers, but we got games in hand, and we're catching up to Tampa. And looks like Ottawa's gone on a bit of a run there, too. Because they're now well above 500, and we are actually above 500 with that win. No, we are. We did. This is
32 games, so we'd be very
yeah,
close.
It's December 17th. So
okay.
What's the least actual record right now?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that. Let me just pull it up here. And the least actual record is 11-11-6. To 28 games.
Yep, so we're through 30 and we're doing slightly better than that. Just for the sake of torturing myself, let's go back and find how that Canucks... yeah, see here in this one, the Canucks have a 2-1 lead over the Hurricanes in the third, and don't let in 6 goals.
Well, that's
wind up winning 2-1. So yeah,
we should go back and edit that game.
Computer Willie Desjardins is apparently a lot better than the real one.
Well.
Okay, so I think we're done with this homestand. So now we got one more against Anaheim. Oh, let's play that one. We're coming up on the top of the hour too, so we'll watch that and maybe sim a couple on the road and get us almost to the end of December.
Oh, we should get to Christmas break if nothing else.
Yep. Keep forgetting to look on waivers. Okay. Nobody I'd immediately want to pick up there. As Marincin doing with his injury, still out with the irregular heartbeat for 1 to 2 months. Zaitsev's been playing really well since we called him up. I don't really think we need to make any lineup changes yet.
Let's trade Frederik Andersen.
Wait, Levo is not doing anything. He's got 4 points in 30 games, so I'm going to swap Connor Brown back in. He didn't do that well for us earlier, but let's give him another chance.
Did you hear what I said?
You cut out partially, I think.
Let's trade Frederik Andersen.
Let's not.
Why not? It'll be fun. Let's trade him for Roberto Luongo.
Yeah, I definitely don't want that contract. Had to deal with in real life. Don't want to do it in the game. Okay.
Well, there's another good Vancouver Canuck, Corey Snyder.
Yeah, at least we got something for him.
What was that you got for him?
That was a pick. Oh, was that the pick that we got?
Wasn't that the McCann pick?
No, that was a Horvat pick.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
That one's actually not terrible.
And
scouts are still out. That's good.
They regretted that trade then. They should regret it for the next 15 years.
Yeah, well, thank Luongo and his crazy contract with the no trade clause and the stupid front loading, which was perfectly legal at the time, and then the league had to change that on us. Watching
Don't
Ducks
blame the
play
league
here.
for that.
apparently there's still a fairly, if Luongo decides to retire early, we've got a nasty cap hit coming up. I think it spikes up to something like 8 or 9 million 1 year around, might be 2023 or something like that. Maybe not that far ahead, but there's a really ugly one coming. So at least he's playing well now, and he'll hopefully want to stay in the league for a while. And we are getting killed here, 6-0. But yeah, if Luongo retires before the end of that contract, it's going to cost the Canucks a bunch of cap space, which could be at a really bad time, because that might be just around the time when we're finally starting to contend again. Okay, looks like we're picking it up a little bit here. At least we've got some shots at this point. Two-man advantage, and Riley gets it. So, tied up. And we're now out shooting Anaheim. So after that really slow start, we turned it around. Connor Brown not exactly making the best of his opportunities. Pretty bad game scores, and he's -1. And 1-1 into the first.
Dun, dun, dun.
Brown seems to turn it around. Game scores up to back in the 50s now. He's one of the better ones on the team, actually. Riley having a good game. Trouba, another great game. Trouba has been a really good pickup for us. And Riley gets a second of the game, up 2-0. Stefan Matteau gets a rare point. As did Davidson. Huh? So first line may not be doing much, but the defense is scoring. Now we're back getting outshot again. Play definitely seems to be in their end a little bit more, but we're just not getting the shots. Taking a quick look at the shot chart.
Yeah,
they're shooting, doing a little more from the outside, so I'm not too worried about the shot advantage.
Another question from the chat. Neely08 says, did you ever play Wayne Gretzky hockey on PC? What was your favorite computer hockey game growing up?
Yep, played Wayne Gretzky hockey and Wayne Gretzky hockey. Wait, today was there a 2? Yeah, I think there was a 2.
Yeah.
And then,
well, there was actually several.
And then Hockey League Simulator was basically built out of that.
Yeah.
Using their simulate their, I think or at least I'm not sure if there was. I can't remember. I don't think there was a There was like a simulation engine in Wayne Gretzky hockey. Wasn't. There might have been some way to export games to Wayne Gretzky hockey from Hockey League Simulator, I think. And then Hockey League Simulator 2, and then it was the big drought for hardcore hockey games, and I played APBA for a few years. But until EHM, the first one came along, and then us, it was pretty dry for a few years.
I more recently got into simulation, so growing up, my favorite hockey games, of course, something like NHL 94, 95 were great games.
Yep.
Little lesser known game, Hit the Ice by
that
Taito. It's you don't remember? Oh man, you should really check it if you haven't. Turn on the videos. It was a 2-on-2 hockey game with goalies, and basically the point was it was the 1970s, and you just kind of beat the crap out of each other. For a large amount of portions. Great game. Love that game.
It was like only 2 players though?
It was 4 players total. There was
Yeah, but two skaters and a goalie.
Two skaters and a goalie. Yep.
It was like an 8-bit thing, or
it was on Super Nintendo, Sega
Oh,
Genesis,
there we go. Okay.
Game Boy. Yeah, and it was in the arcade. What another one after that? You know, the game that really changed everything for me was NHL '97 on PC. That was the first time NHL went 3D, and that just blew my mind.
Yep, I think I remember. I think I've got that one somewhere. Probably got the
and it was
disc somewhere.
Had terrible and had graphic glitches. You had guys flying through the boards lots of the time, but my friends and I played that game so much. You got so good at using the mouse, and then two other people are on the keyboards, and
we beat Anaheim, but we lost Milan Mikulik, subluxed shoulder, so he's out a couple of weeks apparently. I think I could put Levo back in, but we just I don't know why I didn't do this before, but Rich should have been on the injury list long ago. So he's down there. Take a quick look at the injury list. Lupul's still saying 1 to 2 months with his hernia. And getting near the end of the show, but let's take a look at the Marlies. And first things first, looks like there's a whole bunch of guys that are all 1.5 stars, so nobody obviously standing out there. Seth Griffin, former Bruin, leading them 25 points. Travis Dermott, rookie.
Oh, sorry, what are we looking for? We're looking for.
I'm looking for a call-up. I'm thinking maybe Kirby Reichel.
I like that. Unless you want to go Kasperi Kapanen.
Oh yeah, Kapanen actually had a bunch of development right near in our last development report. Him or Reichel. Can Kapanen play left wing? No. Reasonably competent at it. He's good enough. Let's try Kapanen. We always seem to favor the guys who are related to previous old NHLers. We have Mateau in the lineup already, so we'll leave Reichel down a little while longer. And just so I don't forget this next time, I'm going to set up the lineup now. Did I dress him? Where's Kaplan? Nope, I didn't dress him. That's why he's not there.
Dun, dun. Neilio, it says, my buddies and I played Gretzky 2 and would draft teams every weekend when we were in high school. It was awesome.
Okay, I'm going to drop Kapanen into the third line to give him a little bit of playing time, and also on the second power play unit. Yeah, he's just going to go everywhere.